Hello, ARC family. Welcome to the ARC journey. I wanted to thank you all for an incredible conference experience. And thank you for those of you who attended, for those who weren't able to attend. We had a great time of gathering, reconnecting, renewing our mission, and making sure that we are moving forward with that. There are changes that will be coming, and we'll continue to talk about that. But one of the things that I wanted to do and want to do now for the next couple of our sessions together, or my talks, is talk about something that we read about in Canoeing the Mountains. If you haven't picked up Canoeing the Mountains, highly recommend that you do. Todd Bolsinger, Canoeing the Mountains. It talks a lot about what we have been going through with COVID. So, but in what chapter is it? Chapter 7. This chapter 7, we see introduced the idea of adaptive leadership. And you heard Lance talk about it. I talked about it during my report. Lance talked about it during his report. And so I want to dig into that a little bit and help you to wrap your head around this, and so that you can wrap your arms around it, so you can show this, or I'm hoping that this can be a useful tool for your team. So adaptive leadership says to us, we find ourselves in the middle of adaptive leadership when we are realizing that we have left the map, right? Our understanding of how things are going and operating are no longer useful, or they're not fit for our current situation. So adaptive leadership says to us this, that we need to be an adaptive leader when we are realizing that we are no longer experts in what we are talking about. And in fact, today there are no experts available to us. There is nobody who knows your church like you do, you and your team, and there is nobody who understands your community or is a position to bridge the gap between your church and your community. It may be bringing in people to speak to what's happening in your community, like finding that someone like Lewis and Clark did, who will help them in their exploration, who can explain different cultures from the different Indian tribes that they are, or Native American tribes that they ran into understanding how to understanding how to exist and on what they were able to find out in the wilderness, because the wilderness changed. I mean, everything was changed. The fauna had changed, the cultures had changed of the peoples that they were running into. So it wasn't just the terrain, it was everything that went with it. And so they were no longer experts on anything except for translating, right? Making sure that whatever they came across, they were able to bring back to Thomas Jefferson to be able to say, this is what we found on the journey. So adaptive leadership puts us in a position where it is us not understanding necessarily what we are all seeing, not necessarily understanding what we need to do, and not necessarily understanding what it's going to take to get there. We're not experts. So the idea for adaptive leadership is that we launch on a series of experiments. Everything becomes experimental. How do we move forward? The idea is that I'm not sure. The idea is that we will move forward, and let's try this. And we do things on an experimental basis. Everything is geared to What can we learn? What would it look like if we actually met this need? What would it look like if we were meeting a pain point in the community? What could we do to help alleviate that pain point? And then it is saying we're not going to just launch into this. We're not just going to say this is what we're going to do. We're going to set off on several months of experimenting, of learning, and bringing back information, gathering information for us to be able to sit down and reevaluate and find out what's working and what's not working. We could find out, for instance, in adaptive leadership, in trying to understand the culture around us, is that what we had thought would work doesn't work at all. That is a huge success. You have now successfully discovered something not to do, and you can pass it on to the rest of us. So this is what adaptive leadership looks like. And it is the tool that we are going to absolutely need to be able to move forward. So in Canoeing the Mountain, there are several things that Todd Bolsinger talks to us about being necessary for adaptive leadership. And hopefully when you had a chance to go through this, I know that many of you went through the discussion group about this. But one of the absolute key leadership lessons is that, one, we're not experts, and none of us here, all of your fellow pastors, all of the people, and none of us are experts in what is happening right now. So it is with that foundation being laid, then the next thing is that we need to have a strong anchor to the what Todd Bolsinger calls as the charism, or the core values. What are the absolute core values? Now, I'm not talking about our aspirational core values, those core values that we say we want to be like, but who is it that we are? It has to be an accurate understanding and a reflection of who we are. What is unique about our church? What is our family when we come together? What sets us apart, right? So for one church, it might be that we love to eat. That is one of our primary things, is we love to cook. We love to eat. We love the time around the table. That family time is irreplaceable. Okay, that is who we are. That's where we live out our expression of Christ in us, is when we gather around the table. Walls are broken down, families become united, needs are being shared. We have the opportunity to learn and to grow with each other. Okay, so now understanding that, taking that now and saying, what are the things that are not working? What do we need to let go of? And dealing with that sense of loss. Because for somebody, inevitably, if we quit doing something, inevitably it is going to upset somebody. But we cannot keep doing everything that we are doing. It is not getting us where we need to go. Carrying all this extra luggage for a river journey is not getting us to the accomplishment. So taking it back, does it help build, or does it help establish our charism, our values, those things that are critical for us in accomplishing the mission? The third thing then is seeking the points where there is pain in our community. And I think this is the absolute easiest and most essential place to start, is asking the question, where do we see pain in our community? And that it becomes an opportunity to launch the congregation out and to be information gatherers. for them to be able to come, go out, to see, to hear, to experience what are the things that our community is going through, start talking to people, and then to bring back information. And there, then we start asking the question, how do we take our charism, the things that we value, our core values, our mission, and how do we make that then a part of eliminating the pain in our community? So it is easier for us to jump on board when it is attached to the things that we love to do. So if we can get some things that we love to do in a way that helps to alleviate the pain, and we come at it not by saying, okay, this is the new thing that we are going to do, this is the new idea. What we do is we say, okay, now let's try this. Let's experiment. Let's see what we learn. Everything becomes a learning experience because none of us are experts. So this is all a learning, and we move forward with that learning together. So this is the start. I want to explore this further. We're going to talk about other aspects of adaptive learning as we continue on, but I want you to start processing this and thinking this through. It seems doable. It is the methodology that I want to work with our Ag Council with in starting to look at and thinking about what needs to change to make the region itself, our structures of our institutional structures, more adaptive, more responsive to the local church, to our pastors, to our communities. So, and it is the same methodology, it's the same questions, it's the same moving forward for you in the local church. So we'll talk about this more. Camp is reeling up. So I think that they're still looking for some camp counselors. Give Carrie a call. And if you are available, I know that they're looking for pastors, lay people. Tough finding people this year. So thank you for everyone who gave their reports. Thank you for all of your input and sharing together. And we're recuperating right now, heading out to Findlay for a Weinbrenner board meeting later this week. So I will talk to you all next week. If you need anything, give me a call. You know my number. And we will see you next week. Keep on shining. Bye-bye.